enabling digital transformation for financial institutions across the globe. And based on research, we've seen that over 83% actually of financial institutions globally are deploying their workloads and applications to the cloud as part of their primary computing infrastructure. And this is essentially starting with what we call the non-core workload. So not necessarily core banking, but other peripheral applications are being deployed to the cloud. And that's because of, cost efficiency, the scalability that cloud offers, the agility, of course, first and foremost, security. And then today we are talking about accelerating innovation. So typically and naturally is about the speed of innovation that the cloud offers today, right? So when we talk about innovation in financial services, there are a number of key pillars or factors that come to play. So one is about, while looking at innovation, you have to take into consideration compliance, because financial services is by far one of the most regulated industries today. So compliance is, one of the key things that you need to talk about. Risk, and then of course, look at the market dynamics. What's the challenge? What's the competition doing? And today we of course know that the face of competition in financial services in this part of the world has changed drastically over the past few years. And why is that so? Because now you have the entrant of the fintechs, the digital natives, and these guys are addressing the same market that the traditional financial institutions are addressing, but they're adopting a different approach. So that, of course, typically has now increased or elevated the expectations of the average customer for financial services today. So customers are expecting banks to provide more personalized experiences. And then, of course, financial institutions are also now looking at how do we innovate to improve customer experience. And what has now happened because of the changing landscape of competition is that a lot of traditional banks have revenues at risk because of the threat from the fintechs and the digital natives, right? And we're also now having, in terms of cloud migration, we're also seeing that there is a challenge with even the whole approach and of cloud adoption. How is the infrastructure being configured? How is it being made ready for the workloads that are moving to the cloud? And that means that dealing with the risk of millions of records that banks have today to be securely moved to be securely managed so that there are no exposures in the cloud adoption journey. So it then means that, right, how do you manage all of this infrastructure and also not have to neglect compliance and risk, which are key for a financial institution? So essentially it's about managing priorities and, of course, not compromising any of those key pillars. And we found out that, based on research as well, that over 77% of financial institutions describe their cloud strategy as hybrid because of the key pillars of compliance and risk that they have to manage amidst the challenges that the market is that is evolving in the marketplace. Now, when we talk about executing transformation in financial institutions, we find out that, about 15%, and this is growing, by the way, of financial institutions are beginning to actually consider the cloud for their core workloads because of, their focus on transformation and what it portends for customer experience. But again, in driving digital transformation, like I said earlier on, compliance is key, risk is a key factor, and then, of course, innovation is also critical. And so how are these three factors interplaying in the approach to cloud adoption by financial institutions, and how is IBM supporting this digital transformation with these three factors, interplaying? And what we have found out is that when it comes to a successful cloud transformation journey for any financial institution, what we have found out what works based on our experience with key global players across in various continents, we have found out what works and we have found out what doesn't work. So when we talk about compliance, what has worked? what has worked is ensuring that, financial institutions are aligned with the compliance requirements of the industry. And so we have also now created a framework that ensures that this continuous compliance across the hybrid environment is maintained and is ensured, right? So it's about ensuring that you have a consistent controls framework, which we have worked with the industry to create across hybrid, whether it's, in the cloud or on-prem, having a consistent, compliance framework across, your hybrid environment, and also ensuring that this simplifies operations as well as ensuring security. Second thing, when you talk about risk, is what works for risk. It's about having a combination of modern governance and a standard control framework and automation, because, when you talk about transformation isn't complete without automation. Automation is central to transformation, but in the midst of all of that, there is also a risk in terms of, the processes and the governance structure. So we have found out that having, a combination of all of this, the governance, standard control framework and automation seamlessly integrated works, right? And what doesn't work is basically having a low cyber, when you're adopting software as a service, and then you have a low cyber maturity when operating on the cloud. That is a huge risk, and exposure that no financial institution should be dealing with, especially because you also have, third-party applications provider that are working with you, that are integrating their applications into your environment, and that is a whole lot of exposure when you have a low cyber maturity level. The third pillar is around innovation itself. So what we have found works is the ability to experiment and embrace calculated risk-taking based on patterns that have been that the industry has shown to meet compliance, controls, and security requirements. Security is always key when you talk about, any offering or any roadmap from IBM when we talk about cloud adoption. So we're saying that, being able to put all of this together and ensure that, while you are experimenting, while you are innovating, security, compliance, and controls are not jeopardized and are not, put at risk. So that's why what IBM has done is that when we look at these three factors, innovation, compliance, and risk, we have said, okay, how can we help financial institutions balance this? And what IBM has done is gone to the drawing table and built a set of controls of industry standards and compliance requirements across the continent, working with several regulatory agencies, standards bodies, to ensure that all of the requirements for financial institutions are built into a framework, right? And that framework is called the Financial Services Cloud Framework, and that's what is driving our Financial Services Cloud. So I'm going to allow Eric now to take us through the Financial Services Cloud to show us how this framework is driving the Financial Services Cloud and, taking into consideration those three key factors I talked about: innovation, risk, and then, of course, compliance of financial services. So Eric, over to you.
All right, thank you, Fajola. I hope everyone can hear me clearly.
Good.
Okay, yeah, we can proceed to the next slide. Yeah, so as Fajola has mentioned, so IBM Cloud for Financial Services is basically an architectural framework that has been designed specifically with financial institutions in mind. So all of the controls, policies that are put in place to regulate a financial industry have been built for you into a programmatic template that you can use to scan the environments against. And some of the benefits that this addresses is, firstly, it allows you to address your compliance requirements with all the industry controls and platforms. So the things such as PCI DSS, your ISO compliance, SOC compliance, so on. This now frees you up to move away from day-to-day tasks of enabling these guardrails in your environments. And now you can use that extra time to speed up your innovation and provide services quicker to your customers. And then you're also able to safeguard your data with industry-leading security capabilities. We actually have the highest level of encryption in the industry when it comes to securing data. And then you're able to operate with choices. You can have these deployments on premise, on IBM cloud, or even other clouds such as Azure or AWS, or even your local data center within your region, which allows you to comply with your data residency requirements. Next slide. So this is a common framework of risk-centric controls, and it applies throughout different partners, which are what we call independent software vendors, fintechs, across IBM's catalog of various services, and the financial institutions who use these services and form a council that comes up with a framework that we need to scan this environment across. This council is made up of CSOs, CTOs, CIOs from major banks, insurance providers, and regulatory advisors globally. So it spans from the industry leaders. So these are the people who now determine what controls should be enabled in this environment. It has real-time monitoring, and you have continuous compliance using the IBM Cloud tools. So this means your environment is constantly being scanned for compliance. Anything that is flagged as non-compliant shows up on a dashboard in real time. And it also speeds up your demonstration of your compliance to your supply chain partners, to other financial institutions that you work with as well. And this is a council that convenes quarterly, and it comprises over 90 plus global and regional banking leaders. And the insights from this council are what drive new innovative constructs, enable adoption for mission critical workloads. Next slide, please. And these are some of the bodies that the framework adheres to. So you can see industry standards, we have NIST and CSA. Global standards, we have PCI, DSS, ISO, SOC, and then in North America, the UK, in Europe, GDPR, the FDIC in North America, and so on and so forth. So this just shows you how inclusive it is in terms of regulations. Next slide. So the IBM Security Compliance Center now automates these and maps these compliance profiles and controls to the whole environment. It allows you to monitor and assess your compliance across multi-cloud environments. So whether your environment is sitting on premise, on another cloud, or on IBM cloud, you're able to assess the compliance across your hybrid cloud environment. You're able to enforce these configurations. You can control how users configure resources. So for example, policies can be applied to the resources before they're even provisioned, allowing you to avoid non-compliance right at the get-go, and you're able to detect suspicious behavior and threats. So things like abnormal network behavior, abnormal user behavior, able to integrate the threat management and incident response. So if you have an incident response tool, you can integrate it via webhooks from this platform to alert the necessary personnel to take action. So IBM takes a holistic approach using encryption to manage or to protect data across, whether you're running containers, whether you're running databases, virtual machines, using what we call the IBM Cloud Hyper Protect services. And this is unique because it actually allows you to bring your own keys. So you can encrypt data using the keys that you're using on premise, which means that even IBM doesn't have access to your data. It means that you can use the same key ceremonies that you're using on premise to encrypt data on the cloud and move that data, whether it's at rest, whether it's in transit, or even in use. So data that's running in your containers, in your applications, is also fully encrypted, giving you a peace of mind that only you have access to your data. And now this capability can be extended to any location of your choice. Whether you're running a location on premise, whether you're running it on another cloud, we have a solution called the IBM Cloud Satellite, which my colleague is gonna delve more into, that allows you to pass these configurations, these policies, and allows you to adhere to data residency requirements, especially in Nigeria, that we're aware that for financial institutions, data has to remain on premise. This solution allows you to have that data on premise, but still enjoy the benefits of having the financial services controls and policies enforced across all your locations within the region. And these are some of the partners that are part of the financial services cloud ecosystem. So we have core applications, especially related to banking, such as Temenos, Infosys. We have various data and AI players like Veeam, NetApp, Portworx, Redis, payment spaces such as HPS, Interscope, and risk management, and many other ecosystem partners. And the list keeps growing as we onboard more onto this platform. So thanks a lot for your time. And at this point, I'll be handing back to Ifejola to continue the next session. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Eric. So I think Farag is going to take up from here now. So Farag, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Fijola, and thank you, Eric. And first, are you able to hear me well? I'm audible? Fijola, are you able to hear me well? I just want to make sure that I am audible.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that I'm not able to be, with you physically in this master class, but thank you so much for sticking around. As my colleagues Ifijola and Eric highlighted at the beginning, cloud is definitely a major driver for innovation. And as we have seen nowadays, AI is becoming the most enabler the most part of the technology that enables businesses to be more productive. However, what we have noticed, and this is across thousands and hundreds of engagements that IBM has been into, is that most of the enterprises are still not yet ready to that, AI driver. There are various reasons why enterprises are not yet ready. For example, we noticed that most of the IT architecture that sits today are mostly heterogeneous. The volume and the velocity to which data are being generated is humongous, and it is very difficult for any enterprise to consume and to be able to adapt it to the data volumes and the increase that is happening every day. For these reasons and others, what we have tried to do is to build a model and to build a technology that can actually enable the enterprises to make use of the different data silos that exist today, and also to have this technology that can span across the different heterogeneous environment that exists today in any enterprise, whether it's something that is running on premises, whether it's something running on cloud. And from this point onwards, the idea of distributed cloud was born. And the whole concept behind distributed cloud is to allow enterprises and large banks to run cloud services anywhere, whether on premises or on a local cloud provider inside Nigeria, or even other hyperscalers. The choice is always yours. And using the platform, you can then run multiple cloud services, including database as a service, AI as a service, container-based as a service, container orchestration platform as a service, and so forth and so on. And all of these platforms are being managed from a single pane of glass, which allow you to control the automated provisioning, or control the data operation, control the security, and the controls that Eric has highlighted. Everything is happening from a single location. If you can go to the next slide, please. And as you can see here on this slide, there are lots of services that are being enabled. Some of them are open source, some of them are IBM technologies, some of them are coming from the marketplace of Red Hat. We are trying to expand the services and technologies that can run on this platform, so that we become the enabler that any enterprise would need in order to overcome those challenges highlighted earlier. We understand that all organizations have the same pain points. And this is why the technology itself has been very flexible in order to address the heterogeneous nature of IT that exists today, as well as the explosion of data, um, and allow the enterprises to take their very first step towards AI. If you can go to the next step, please, next slide. And this slide summarizes the entire technology stack from IBM and how it actually runs on top of the satellite platform. So, and since the AI will be our focus in this part of the session, you will see that satellite, the red part of this stack runs multiple components, including the entire platform of IBM data and AI platform, which we call Watson X. As you can see, this platform is very flexible when it comes to the choice of infrastructure. It can run on IBM Cloud, it can run on public cloud, it can run at the edge, which is also which opens up a lot of use cases where we can actually bring AI at the edge and allow banks to collect the data from different ATM machines or from different remote branches or from different touch points where the end user or customer might be interacting with the bank through mobile channels, web channels, and much more. So through these capabilities, I'm allowing myself as an enterprise to collect as many data as possible, regardless of where it exists, and then aggregate these data into this platform that we call satellite before we can take this capability to the next step, build the model, run the model, and generate the insights that are needed to power my business. If we can go to the next slide. And to give you an idea about what, the Watson X platform and the different components in it, this slide actually summarizes it very well. You can see that the platform itself consists of three main components. At the center, there is the Watson X data, and this is the platform that allows me to aggregate and consolidate different data silos, so that I can manage the humongous amount of data volume that exists today, while at the same time providing the right governance and access control that are needed to ensure that I have the safeguards to protect my data. Within Watson X data, we are embracing lots of open source technologies in order to build what we call a data lake house that supports different types of data, different structured, unstructured, and to ensure that we have this support for the huge data volumes that are being ingested on a daily basis. And then on the left side, you would see the AI component, and this is where we have the Watson X.AI that allow organizations to build machine learning models, to train the models, to tune the model, and to manage the entire life cycle of any machine learning data science project from the same platform. So using the Watson X.AI, I can manage the entire life cycle of my AI project. And also, and if you can go to the next slide, please. And also, I have access to a library of lots of open source foundational models that I can start, fine tuning from day one in order to bring value to my enterprise in the shortest possible time. So the Watson X.AI is the AI component of our platform, and through the open source capabilities and through the foundational model library and through the various capabilities that manage the life cycle of any AI project, I can accelerate the innovation pace in order to integrate AI right away into my enterprise using this platform. And then the last piece, and if you can go to the next slide, please, the Watson X.Governance. And this is the part that ensures that I have the right governance model and the right guardrails that can protect my model while it runs into production. So the governance part, and if Julia, this is the next slide, the governance component is what monitors the model in order to ensure that the model is transparent, the model acts according to the enterprise controls and enterprise policies, and ensure that I have the right explanation, I have the right transparency, I have the right explainability that should comes with any AI model that I need to run, whether to support internal use cases like HR and other, or even external use cases where I need my model to interact with end users or client of mine. And definitely as part of our AI strategy, we're not stopping there. we also want to build a set of AI assistant fleets, which we believe is the next the next touch point for any enterprise to interact with their end clients. Before that, it was mainly the mobile channel, web channel, but nowadays many of the clients and many of us in general are more attached to interacting with the things like ChatGPTs or others. So we believe that the AI assistant will become the next channel through which clients can interact with the bank, and this is why we have built a different type of AI assistants that can support lots of use cases that the bank can tap into right away. And if Julia, if you can go to the next slide, please. And this is where you will see lots of or the various type of use cases where AI assistant can come and help, offloading a lot of the repetitive tasks that usually consume a lot of time from the customer representative. It enable another channel for self-service capability and provide a significant productivity gain up to 70% in order to accelerate any business process that runs that needs to run nowadays in any enterprise, whether it's for customer service, whether it's for financial planning, risk and compliance, or even HR and talent management, all of these capabilities. And we are actually using this within IBM. We have our own AI assistant that allow us to interact and to process lots of HR inquiries and lots of HR processes right away through our AI assistant. But that's another way in which IBM actually can, the AI platform and the AI assistants that you can see here on this slide, can add value to the enterprise to increase productivity, accelerate the innovation, and add another dimension towards how IT can enable business to expand and to grow at a much faster pace. The example of the assistants that you can see here is just the example of the AI assistants that are available out of the box. If we can stick to the previous slide, please. I just want to say one word. So those are a set of assistants that are available out of the box that can support also another set of use cases around code assistant, which helps in the modernization of legacy code and provide lots of ideas and recommendation to the developers to transform legacy code into a modern code. We have also the Watson X Orchestrate, which is an integral element of the business process management suite within IBM that can allow you to automate business processes. And through these business processes, the AI assistant comes in to automate lots of the tedious tasks, manual tasks, provide insight to the human agents that are working across the process in order, again, to increase productivity and ensure that we are following the right process and the right flows. We also have the BI assistant, which is something that is very, very innovative. It allows the end user to convert a natural language inquiry into a SQL query that can query different data sources, databases in real time and generate reports that are then published as part of a dashboard in order to give business users access to lots of data in real time. And it's all happening either using just natural language question and answer, and then at the back end, it generates all the required queries in order to build reports, populate dashboard, and provide the real-time insights that any business executive or any business user might be interested in. So those are just examples of the set of AI assistants that we are building as part of our AI platform. And as you can see, it all complements each other. The entire platform is meant to address the end-to-end capabilities and end-to-end requirements that any organization would need, starting from the data collection and analysis, and ending up with building the model, monitoring the model, and ensure that the AI models that we build are always adhering to the standards of my organization, using things like Watson X governance, and ending up with those AI assistants that can facilitate and accelerate any type of innovation that is needed within my own organization. All of these capabilities and more run on top of the distributed cloud platform, IBM Satellite, that we have talked about, which again, can run from anywhere, provide lots of management capability, facilitate and speed up the data operation, and also provide me as an IT as an IT owner with a single pane of glass to allow me to manage all of these environments from the same place. We believe that the distributed cloud is the next big thing happening in the IT industry, not only because it allows us to run lots of use cases, including those related to the data and AI that we have just explained, but much more that will be unlocked in the future, including edge use cases, including integration and middleware, and definitely the sky's the limit. And the moment more ISVs and application vendors comes into the marketplace, it becomes much easier for us to include their services and also to deploy their services on top of our platform. With that, I'm gonna hand it over back to Ifejola just to wrap up, and we're gonna stick around in case that there are any questions or anything you would like to inquire about. And thank you again for being part of this masterclass session. And over to you, Ifejola.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me online now? Please, can you do a show of hand? You can hear me online?
Yes, we can hear you, Ifejola.
Okay, thank you. So in wrapping up, I just wanted to also reiterate, the IBM advantage, the unique value proposition from IBM when it comes to hybrid cloud and, of course, adopting innovation with the cloud. First is around security. IBM has the highest level of security in the public cloud today. We have the highest level of data encryption, plus the fact that we enable you to bring your own existing keys and use them on our cloud platform with your application. So you bring your keys and you manage your key. And that guarantees that IBM cannot see your data because you have responsibility with your encryption keys and your data. And when we talk about the encryption standards, the FIPS 140-2 standard, HSM standard, IBM has a level 4 encryption standard, and the average in the industry today is at the level 2. So you can see that we take security very seriously. Secondly is around the open platform. Now, IBM has been a foremost promoter of open source in the enterprise, and that's why our cloud platform is not proprietary, so you can bring any kind of workload to IBM Cloud Platform, and that basically accelerates innovation, because when you want to build application, you don't want to start dealing with proprietary operating system and all of that, and checking the interoperability of the platform with the application that you want to, or the workload that you want to move. IBM's cloud platform is open and adopts open standard, right? And as you already know, Red Hat is an IBM company, and Red Hat is the leading provider of open standards and open software in the enterprise. Thirdly is around enterprise grade. IBM has a pedigree of robustness and resilience. And that's why globally, over 90% of financial institutions have IBM systems at the core of their enterprise. That same resilience and robustness is also the same platform that IBM Cloud Platform runs on. And that's to ensure you that, the same experience that you might have had.
Sorry, we can't hear you again. Still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Is it okay now? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. It's just echoing a bit.
Is it okay now?
It's okay, just echoing a bit.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Can you hear me online, please?
Yes, it's fine now.
Are you able to hear me? Okay, so I was talking about, I've talked about, can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me online now?
Yes,
Yes,
Simone.
please.
Okay, thank you. So essentially, what I've just talked about is about the three key pillars of why IBM of what IBM has done in terms of its value proposition to financial services, which is one of the most regulated industries. So it's about security, it's about open and supporting hybrid of deployment, and of course, it's about being robust and resilient, which is the enterprise grade that IBM has a pedigree for. In summary, just some of the business value, and this is based on actual research from customers that have used IBM Cloud Platform around some of the solutions that we have shared with you and what their feedback has been. So essentially, we've seen 30% reduction in compliance cost and better security. And we've shown you the IBM Security and Compliance Center that enables that. We've seen 40% reduction in IT budgets needed for financial institutions, 80% reduction in downtime in disaster recovery, 3 times increase in operational efficiency, and then, of course, in terms of increase in performance when AI is adopted and used on IBM Cloud, we've seen a increase, 2 times increase in performance, and then, of course, 30% more efficient IT infrastructure management, based on the whole distributed cloud management, that we have shown you earlier on with the IBM Cloud Satellite. And then, of course, overall, as a financial institution, customer experience is very key, and being able to ensure, an improvement in the end user response becomes very critical. And we've seen over 30% improvement in end user response, leveraging on the IBM value proposition. And so essentially what we are saying to you is that IBM understands what financial services is about. We have decades of experience, both from consulting and from a technology perspective with financial institutions, and we have taken all of these into consideration and brought it to bear in developing the overall financial services cloud framework and financial services cloud that enables digital transformation, innovation, and of course, lead evolving AI solutions that enable financial services or financial institutions to address, and become more competitive in the landscape of today. Thank you. So we'll take any questions or comments, please. Yes, please. Good afternoon.
Just one, two questions.
Okay.
Okay, I want to ask a question around.
If you can speak up so that the guys online can hear you.
Okay, as of today, does IBM have a startup credits starting off and not have proper financing yet to be able to run on the cloud? As of today, I know that AWS, Google Cloud, has some sort of credit that they give to startups who qualify for products. So I want to know if IBM has.
Yeah, sure. So we have a startup bundle, right? A startup program actually that, of course, includes some free credits and some other, support in terms of, content that will support your startups. So we have what is called a startup program, and we can share more information with you, or point you to where you can find the relevant information on our website about the whole startup program. So it's not just credit; it's a whole startup program that we have. Yeah. Yes, please.
Richard.
Yes, please.
Two questions for you.
Okay.
One, Wonderland, your strategy of Red Hat and the IBM satellite, is there a duplication of resources there? I mean, are they performing? Can they perform the same?
No, they're not. They're not the same. So, okay.
With the code, Watson code AI or something like that.
Yeah, one of the Watson assistant. Yeah.
Generate.
Yeah.
Actually generate code.
Okay, so let me address the first question. So first question around the Red Hat and the Cloud Satellite, they are not the same thing. They're basically, it's actually a combined solution. So when we talk about Red Hat, the orchestration platform, yeah, OpenShift, yeah, Red Hat OpenShift, which is a Kubernetes, enterprise Kubernetes, right? Right. So Cloud Satellite basically enables that enterprise Kubernetes, at the core of the enterprise in a hybrid cloud, a hybrid environment. So essentially what Cloud Satellite does is Cloud Satellite enables you to run that enterprise Kubernetes, which is Red Hat OpenShift, on the customer's premises in any location of their choice without having to go to the cloud. So they have that platform. Sorry, am I being heard? So you have the platform. It's essentially like platform as a service, but platform as a service running in the customer's data center or any location that they choose. And they can have multiple locations, which is what we call satellite locations that have this Red Hat OpenShift running, and that they can deploy any application, any cloud native, sorry, I need to, yeah. Okay, and no, I think I need to disconnect. Sure. Audio settings. I need to disconnect. Okay. All right, so I think it's better now. So essentially, I was saying that the cloud satellite enables you to run the Red Hat OpenShift, which is enterprise Kubernetes, not in the cloud, but in any environment of your choice, whether in your data center or on the edge or in any remote location. And then you can then deploy on that platform, and it's a platform as a service, but fully managed by IBM with SLAs running on the customer's infrastructure. And then it enables any workload, any application that requires a Kubernetes to run seamlessly. And all of those various locations where the customer can choose to deploy this platform can be managed from a single pane of glass in one view. So it basically enables a single point of control for the hybrid multi-cloud environment with the whole Kubernetes, Red Hat OpenShift Kubernetes platform running on the cloud satellite. So it's not either or, it's actually an offering that enables, and today, as you can see, a lot of software ISVs are standardizing their applications now on Red Hat OpenShift. For example, Finacle, Terminus, and all these actually key financial services ISVs are beginning to standardize their applications on OpenShift. So basically, this enables the financial institution to not have to worry about the Kubernetes platform and just focus on the application, because all of that is managed by IBM with SLAs. So what was the question about, Watson? So it's actually an AI asset, which means that it supports the code development. It doesn't own the process, right? It just, like any other assistant, it supports the code development process, with the DevOps team. Yeah. It doesn't, not on its own, it works with the data that you already have, to build that code. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other questions or comments? All right. So I think we can bring this session to a close. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for your patience. And thanks to the online team, the guys online. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Farag, and all the online audience. We can call it a night, I believe.
All right.
Thank you.
My slides.